Okay. So before starting this, I just want to ask, how many of you check your cloud bills? Anyone? Sometimes, right? What is the maximum amount of bill that you guys have seen? What is the maximum? I want to know. Oh. Yeah, yes. Anyone else? 2.7 million is. Okay, like, least value. My personal account. Because I know how to do FinOps in my particular. So, for me, it is like $3.7 million for a month. Actually. So, yeah, it is quite important to manage your cloud finance. Right? So, let's start. Hi, I'm Ujjwal. I'm Cloud and DevOps Engineer at CloudZenia, and also I manage most of the FinOps part. CZ is short for CloudZenia. And also, I'm FinOps certified. If you want to connect, this is the QR, but later on we'll be having one more to go. Okay. Okay. Just like managing your personal finance is tough, right? It can be tricky sometimes. So does the cloud cost management too? Because yeah, we got the metric right. It was something around $1 billion, and for me it was $1 million. So this is the scale of FinOps, right? This is the scale of cloud cost, that how much it can grow and how you need to manage it particularly. It was for that particular account for $3.7 million. They had around 350K savings suggestion that is given by AWS. So yes, this is where also right. What is FinOps? What is FinOps? Anyone? It is like written, right? Anything else?
सही से पैसा खर्चा करो
सही से पैसा खर्चा करो.
cost effective cloud
Okay. Can be considered. And
according to me, it's not only about cost optimizing.
okay.
ये भी है कि हम उसको कैसे जब हम स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं किसी तरह से तो कैसे हम स्टार्ट करें कि वो कम मतलब ऑप्टिमाइज वे नहीं कर. इट्स नॉट लाइक क्वालिटी में सर्विस चले और उसको आप ऑप्टिमाइज करें.
Okay. We can say it.
Just like DevOps, it's highly related to finance and operations. Like development and operations, it's like DevOps.
Okay.
Financial, like it's a set of practices.
Okay. So basically, according to FinOps Foundation, what is the actual definition? It was a bit hard to pronounce, so I just removed it and added mine. It is a combination of finance and DevOps, highlighting the collaboration between business teams like finance and technical teams like engineering and DevOps. It is quite simple, right? But how do we start it? What actually FinOps operations mean? It can mean differently to every other person. So for someone, it might be just optimizing your cloud cost bill, but for some bigger companies, it would be reducing their cloud cost bill and savings and doing savings in their cloud cost bills. But okay, so let's like some myths. FinOps is just about saving money, but in reality it is about maximizing value, not just cutting cost. In the previous talk, we had the CNCF talk. We talked about like what is the ideal scenario for a VM to be utilized, right? And Raul gave a wonderful answer. As always, it was 100% utilization, right? So, is it same with FinOps? We'll be using our resources to the 100%, and then we can say that yeah, it is like मैंने अपना पैसा डाला है, तो मेरे को पूरा utilization मिला उसका. So this is one of the things that FinOps has. You make your instances in such a way that it gives most out of it. Okay. Second, FinOps is only for big companies. Yes, it is true. It is true that it is for big companies, but we can start it as well. As a small company, as an SMB, you can do FinOps as well. So FinOps is scalable and works for business of all cities. Cloud spend management is crucial whether you are massive enterprise or a small startup. All right. Going further. So when should you start FinOps? Let's take this question with a particular scenario. I and my roommate Ashish, we went to Bangalore. We stayed there for a month now, and we have shifted there. Okay, so it is hard shifting to any new place. So we were spending a lot of money. We were spending a lot of money buying unnecessary things because yeah, why not? So it was hard for us to manage our time. Right? So there are some of the outcomes that we have that relates to FinOps world. So for example, a successful FinOps practice doesn't require sizable cloud deployments or a multi-million dollar cloud bill. Okay, starting FinOps early will make it much easier for an organization to make informed decision about cloud spend, even as it is operations are just starting to scale. So we were shifting to Bangalore, and we haven't decided what our budget was. Right, we were just spending like crazy. Like we were buying shoes, we were buying things that we actually don't need. And at the end of the month, the credit card bill was up to 2 lakhs. We spent so much. Okay. So, but what could have been changed so that this cost would not occur? Any suggestions? So, yeah, budgeting. Any finance guru? Budget tracking? Anything?
UPI is not good.
Anything else? Okay.
Credit card close.
Okay. It is
You can limit the
credit card use. Yes.
install credit.
Install credit.
Use more cash. Install.
Okay, so most of the answers here are just about limiting your things, right? But what if we could have done something else in order to utilize that particular money and also to get most of it, right? For example, we would have not bought shoes, right? We would have invested it somewhere else. For example, no, like why? No, never. So, like, this is only about managing your finances, particularly that results to in a better operation, right? But it was our first one, so we thought that, acha, pehla mahina hai, we'll be doing something else from the next one. And yes, this is how things change. This is how we take small steps in order to make our finances better, in order to result a good and better operation. Okay. Okay. Another myth and reality. FinOps is about tracking cloud cost. This is what you mentioned. But FinOps goes beyond tracking. It is about predicting, optimizing, and automating cloud. Sorry, this reality goes a bit. Reality bahar aani chahiye. It is not just seeing what you are spending, but finding patterns to optimize for further spend. This is the real game changer, I would say. Because knowing what you are spending at and knowing how to spend at is one of the key factors that you need to consider. Like in this particular scenario, data plays a real good part. Right? We need to have an accurate data, ki how much we are spending, how much is the cost allocation of a particular resource, how we are dividing our cost to different resources, right? So it is not just about cloud tracking cloud cost, but also predicting what is going to happen according to a particular set of data. Okay. Spending habits and anything else like to add. Okay. So FinOps is one time setup. No, it is never the case. It is a set of practice that you need to follow as you grow as a big company or as you grow in life. We are relating to our. Okay. For example, if you are a small startup, you can start optimizing your resources as you start. Otherwise, what actually happens if you are a funded company, basically this happens to a lot of companies because they don't know how to spend it right. if you're a small startup and you have been recently funded, you just put your cost to cloud bills. Right? You say, "Yeah, अच्छा, ये भी खोल दो यार, ये department के लिए just open this VM and do lot of things that in which your fund will get wasted." Okay, but FinOps is always not a one-time setup. It is always a set of practice that we need to continue every time, and I would say each time you do something or do something new or you have previously done. Okay, so FinOps is an ongoing process, just like managing your personal budget. It needs constant monitoring, reviewing, and tweaking. The cloud is always changing, so are cost, continuous improvement. Okay. Yeah, this statement is very true because cloud is always changing. You could see prices of cloud cost changing from $2 and it will go up to $5 and you won't even know. Okay. So these are some of the principles of FinOps that is guided by FinOps Foundations itself. First, team needs to collaborate. And what do I mean by the teams? Anyone? Yep. So finance as well as DevOps teams needs to collaborate in order to have a perfect set of FinOps practice. But this is also a catch. There's nothing as perfect here. So you need to have like a certain scenarios where you sit together and discuss on a particular budget. If my company is funded with $2 million, then I need to set a budget that I would spend this amount of money in this particular quarter. Okay, so this is how you know things, and finance team knows your stuff. Because yes, as a DevOps engineer, you will have certain scenarios when you need to open up many resources, when you need to utilize many resources that in which cloud cost would go really up. So finance team needs to know that this cloud is being utilized there, and this is the outcome that we are getting. So both of the teams need to have a perfect understanding where the cost is going, right? Because at the end, सबको धंधा बनाना है, and everyone needs to be like everyone wants to be profitable as well as everyone wants to make some money. Okay? So having a perfect set of practice will surely help. Decisions are driven by business value of cloud. Anyone would like to answer what this statement means? Anyone? Okay. Anything else you want to add? Anyone? Okay. So, see, this is also the similar point. We talked about using a lot of resources in the cloud. So, as I mentioned earlier, FinOps and DevOps needs to know where the cloud cost is going to be spent, right? But in the business value of cloud means where the actual cost is going, right? What optimizations that we have actually done and what needs to be done. These are all the decisions based on the cloud that we need to have a business as a whole in order to follow a good setup. Third point is one of the most important points that I feel is everyone takes ownership of their cloud usage. किसी ने ऐसा किया है कि कंपनी का अगर VM मिला है एंड कि अच्छा कंपनी का है लीज पर 24/7 कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता लार्ज में बोले किसने किया है Yeah. Everyone does it. I've done it too. My week was already running something. So, no, it is not good. Everyone takes ownership of their cloud usage. Yes. So everyone has to utilize their particular set of cloud resources as they needs to, like, because if I ever give you a laptop, like everyone must have their company laptops, right? Most of them. Okay. So you take that laptop as your own, or you consider that laptop as a company's. Company's laptop. Company's laptop. Don't say. So this is what actually happening with our cloud resources. Okay, so we open up a resource and then we forget to turn it off. So this is actually a very big mistake that we make, and this is where your cloud cost can shoot up really high. Fourth point, I think someone else is also going to elaborate this point. Data in FinOps. From here, right? No, this is where your data plays the role. Okay. So FinOps data should be accessible and timely. What if your cloud, you trigger a lambda that is doing something with your S3 bucket, and you just your data shoots up to a limit that it is giving $1 million bill. Okay. And after that, you realize that it gave me $1 million bill, and now I need to stop it. Right? So it is really bad, right? So you need to have timely and good set of data in FinOps that would help you optimize things. And apart from optimizing things, it will help you to plan out things, how to go further. And fifth point, a centralized team drives FinOps. This is the recommendation that FinOps Foundation gives. We need to have a centralized FinOps team that drives the whole FinOps principle, or that follows the FinOps practices in your particular company. Sixth, take advantage of variable cost model of the cloud. Yeah, we know RI and standard instances and every other instance. There are different types of instances that we use. Okay, I don't know who is here. This is not me. Yeah, now the story time. So we were in Bangalore, right? We were spending crazy, but we were maintaining split. Okay. So we were going to use split wise, but we thought why to pay for premium when we can have an alternate solution, right? So this is actually what he told me. अब इसे भी split wise में डालो. Every time we buy something, he tells me कि अभी भी इसे split wise में डालो. But for now, it is obviously we split में डालूंगा. Split is a free solution for split wise. जिसमें भी split wise use किया होगा, and they might be knowing कि we can have only 5 entries in a day. But we were spending crazy, so we need to have multiple entries in a day. So we utilize split for that. Okay. So this is where your changing in habits, changing in the things that you use comes into play. You need to have a set of things that would give you a good return and does your work. Why to spend? मेरे पास कोई alternate solution है, right? There is more in that. बस आगे. Yeah, hold on. Okay, so what happened in CloudZenia? We were giving lots of money to Jira for our project management, documents, and everything. So, okay. वो चला गया स्प्लिट वाला पार्ट. I told everyone कि so we were using Jira for as a project management software. It was costing us huge, like not huge, but there had been certain amount. But reflecting back to our Bangalore story, what we did was to go from split wise to split right. It was alternative free solution. So we found out something. We found something about Plain. It was an open source solution similar to Jira. Then they can use it. It is really good software. I will say. It is similar to Jira and it actually does our work done. So we shifted to open source solution and that was a big step up for us in order to optimize and to manage our cloud costs because we were saving somewhere. Yeah, this is the FinOps maturity model. If you are a small business, right? You're a small business and growing to a huge company, you would be having something ki, acha, I need to innovate more, I need to do certain things in order to increase my company's wealth, in order to increase my company's outcome. So you are also spending in a particular way. So FinOps Foundation has made three particular categories for the maturity model. This is what they call maturity model. The first stage is crawl, second stage is walk, and third stage is run. This is quite obvious, right? Going any guesses what these are? Any guesses? Yes. Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay. This was actually good. So there are three different phases for that. Crawl, walk, and run. So crawl is your first step. This is where you take your baby steps and do a little bit about your finance part, considering your operations as well. Then is the walk. When you are done doing the small steps, when you are done taking the small steps, then you go forward and do some more about it. For example, we changed our spending habits, and then we will be cutting our costs. And then there comes the run phase. This is the most difficult part that companies forget to have because they just stop on walk, they never do run. So what do I mean by run is constantly monitoring your resources, constantly monitoring your cloud cost spends, constantly monitoring your predictable data and everything that you can do. Right? So this is how companies progress from being small SMBs to a huge business. Consider like it is a small startup or something, and you started your FinOps practices right from the first day. How things would have been changed, right? You could have optimized your resources more correctly. You could have saved more on your cloud cost. You could have yes, you could have so this is where FinOps plays a big role. So again, is it a cloud cost optimization? No. Is it cloud just about monitoring cloud spends? Is it just about DevOps tool? No, right? So I think my work is done here. And yeah, this was the last PPT. If you want to connect with me, this is anyone?
Exactly. FinOps exam is common sense.
Yes, it is common sense. Actually.
It is common sense in fact.
We were actually able to pass that exam in 5 minutes.
We have 50-minute exam, around 50 questions, and it's not doctored. So it's basic MCQ. मैंने आधा कोर्स पढ़ा था, इसने पूरा कोर्स पढ़ा था. मेरे भी 1 नंबर से पास हुआ, ये भी 1 नंबर से पास हुआ. Everything about common sense, that's all.
It is really about common sense, but actually the main thing is how you implement that practice and how you follow that practice, right? सबको पता है भाई पैसा बचाना है, but कैसे बचाना है और कब कब बचाना है और क्या बचा के मेरे को क्या मिलेगा is the one thing that we all need to consider.
So what tools do you use for FinOps?
So for FinOps, you can use CloudWatch. CloudWatch is a really good tool for cloud cost savings. We generally use Cost Explorer, AWS Cost Explorer because it is a really great tool to analyze everything about your cost. And also apart from that, third-party tools, there are multiple third-party tools that
You I'm using Google Cloud. So what tools in Google Cloud can you use for monitoring?
I think there is cloud billing dashboard, right?
Yeah, it should be like every.
You have to break it down. So, but you're again going.
Make dashboard and make alerts and make decisions. Like you have
But there are some external tools.
It was
You can. There are many third-party tools, open source as well as closed source.
That's what I'm asking.
But most of the tools don't actually make sense to you, in my opinion.
Yes.
We have used a lot both on stage because it's on how you implement it. It's not about just using the tools and also implementing them. If you don't implement them right, but the auto scaling be
it is never about tool, right? It is about how you use that.
human operations.
Human operations are at the peak.
And you need to take time decisions. He missed one story. Like we migrated from Jira to Plane, we also migrated to Discord for our communication. हर जगह you will listen about Slack. जब हमारी छोटी टीम थी 4-5 की, we were on WhatsApp. Then you moved to Slack when you went around 10 to 15 folks. But उसकी दिक्कत ये थी कि entry tier data मतलब messages lost हो जाते हैं. And then you were like हमारी टीम में 4 लोग हैं जिनको Discord बहुत पसंद है. हम लोग बहुत गेम खेलते हैं. हमने पूरी कंपनी को Discord में मूव कर दिया. हमारे आधे लोग बोलते हैं हम नहीं आएंगे, हमें अच्छा नहीं लग रहा. बोला आओ, नहीं तो जाओ.
एक स्टिग्मा रहता है.
हाँ. तो सबको डिस्कॉर्ड पर डाला एंड नाउ डिस्कॉर्ड इज वर्किंग वेरी स्मूथली. अगर उसमें मैक्सिमम भी पे करेंगे, अगर हमें मतलब एचडी स्क्रीन वगैरह में चाहिए, मैक्सिमम कितना महीने का, मे बी $10 $12 वहां पे पर यूजर पे कर रहा था मैं, वो भी अच्छा खासा अमाउंट.
इसको भी देने की जरूरत नहीं.
Correct.
Like
So you can do multiple such migrations. We did similar migration for our secret management also. We had other tool. We moved to so we are using 2 of them right now. One is Vault and we are using HashiCorp Vault self-hosted. बस चल रहा है, लोकल सबका एक्सेस दे रखा है, सैमन से टिकटेड है, चलाते रहो ओपन सोर्स.
So these are the small things that you need to follow, right, from the early stage. So it is never like a perfect time to start things, and it is basically more about practicing.
More like the right time was yesterday. नहीं हुआ तो आज कर लो, कल किया तो फिर तो देख लेना.
वही है, early to start, early to do.
I have said like in case of data transfer, but how can we optimize that?
Data transfer.
Yeah.
Data transfer as in
From where to where, source and destination.
Like suppose we have a VM on our application in and there is another VM on database.
Okay. So both are in your same network. If they are, then you can do internal transfers. You would cost cross AG probably, but nothing other than that. And if you are not smart enough, and if you do through the public spaces, then yeah, you get a good data transfer bill for your public data transfer because you have to pay for outbound costs in that case.
So using like probably it's not right.
Yes. That will go into egress and ingress data. So ingress is free actually. Egress is the main cost that will come up to you. You need to minimize on that. And even for the internal ones, you need to do slight calculations over there as well. Cross region pricing, cross region pricing, you have to do that.
You cache your local system for that product where you use. Optimize your query so that only the root which is needed, not the whole.
Like the communication should be in the private.
Yes. Anytime you go to public, you are already messing up your thing. So one example would be, so I have this mistake in the past. So in ECS, let's say, you make a mistake and it tries to keep pulling the image. So at that time, we were not using ECR endpoint at that time. We were using NAT gateway to get the images for our ECS clusters. And one of the images was failing on runtime. So it does not do caching by default. It will pull the image every time. And next day we saw our NAT data transfer had spiked, and we were slightly configured why is it happening. And then we had to debug it, and the only thing we saw the thing had happened was ECS, and we saw that image was failing. It was again and again pulling it. We had forgot to set the limit of pulls and also the timeout for it. So there was spike, but we were able to manage it. So you have to keep these small things in mind when you do these things. Otherwise, keep it.
In case of Kubernetes.
No, this was not Kubernetes. In Kubernetes, you have by default a limit set for image restart. So after 10 or 12 tries, it will stop. But in ECS, it is not there. So to keep pulling it regularly every minute or 2 minutes, like whenever it's free, every time it starts to try to make that service up and running.
And also we can use resource and limit.
Sorry?
Resource and limit.
Yes, you can do that, but again, you have to be. So QoS is a different ball game over there. So you need to understand what kind of application it is and what QoS you need to set. If you do a RAM limitation and your application is RAM heavy, you got to do kills. Okay.
We have to do a
Yes, you use VPN. That's the best thing. I use like other things have their other choices.
Okay, so anyone here is technical writer or content?
if someone ये कितना DevOps के ही तरह है या ये FinOps का है?
Not in the center of it. Both works in a combined fashion. And also it is that you can follow as your we are following set of practices. Basically, the same thing that you do with your DevOps. You're doing DevOps. But DevOps has more variety of tools, so it is a set of branch right. Okay. It is never the best. It is always how you do. Okay, so good technical writer is good write content. Anyone else?
Sometimes.
The lead of the society.
Nice. Okay, so if she is guys, apart from that, if anyone is hunting for job, we have job opportunities for you. CloudZenia is hiring, and we just scan the QR, fill up the form.
Yes.
But when you are writing about yourself, writing something about yourself, just be very good at it because we are going to judge.
We are judgmental folks.
Yeah, we are judging. At least in this part.
Yes. So we are applying for content writer, junior DevOps engineer, and senior DevOps engineer.
Okay then. Thank you.